Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video of the Python Fundamental series, we will be talking more about conditionals. So without further ado, let's get started. This video is going to be about conditionals. If you remember from last video, we already talked about how conditionals are used when we want to change the behavior of a program based on certain conditions. And so in this lesson, we are going to talk more about this important concept in programming. In Python, a basic and simple conditional will look something like this. It will start with an if statement, if, and space, and then the condition that will be tested, followed by a colon. And the lines after it, the statements that will be run, that you want to run, after this is evaluated to true, will be indented 4 spaces from the if part. And the same story with elif and else. And since this is indented the same level as the if, elif, and else, that will always be run. Next, let's talk about if. If does exactly what it says. If something is evaluated to the Boolean value of true, that block of code under it will be run. So if I run the cell, we can see since this is evaluated to true, and this is also evaluated to true, same with a Boolean of true and not false, then all of those print statements are executed. However, because this is evaluated to false, same with this, and false is obviously just false, and if I run the cell, you can see nothing happened because none of those if statements are actually run. And elif is basically if with a few minor differences. An elif statement cannot stand on its own without an if statement before it. And an elif statement is only evaluated if the if and elif statements before it is not executed. Looking at this cell, which I accidentally run, if Python is a good language, remember, non-empty strings are evaluated to the Boolean value of true. And so this is run. And while true is indeed true, this is an elif statement, so because this block is already run, this one won't be executed. And for that to actually run, we want to get rid of the el part, and you can see both the first and second conditional statements are actually run. And we can see here the variables a, b, c, d are assigned to the values of 9, 1, 3, and 2. And the first if is going to be if 9 is equal to 3 times 2, then this will run, which obviously 9 is not equal to 6, so that won't be run. And if this is evaluated to true, this will run, but since this is going to be false, then this won't run. And if 9 is equal to 3 squared, this will be run, which is indeed true. So if I run this program, we can see 3 squared is indeed 9 printed out. While 1 plus 1 is indeed equal to 2, the fact that it has an el in front of the if means that this won't be run. So now let's take a look at the last part of conditionals, which is the else statement. It simply catches any condition which the previous statements did not catch. There can be only 1 or 0 else statements after each if statement. And for example, we have num int input. Let me just run this cell, and I'm going to enter a number, which I'm going to enter 5, and press enter, and it says odd number. What happened was if 5 divided by 2 has a remainder of 0, then it will print out even number. Else, it will print out odd number. So if this is not evaluated to true, then this will be run. And if I run this code again and I enter 0, you can see even number because this is evaluated to true and run, so the else part won't be run. And now we have another example. Weather is assigned the value of hurricane. And if weather is equal to sunny, we would print out go outside. Elif, weather is equal to raining, we would want to print another statement. And if weather is snowing, we would want to print out let's make snowman. Else, it will print out unknown weather. Since hurricane is not sunny, nor is it raining or snowing, then unknown weather will be printed out. And so yeah, let's see. Okay, so now let's actually formalize the difference between if-if and if-elif. The biggest difference between if-if and if-elif is the fact that in an if-if situation, both if are evaluated independently. So regardless of whether the first one was run, the second one will be evaluated. In an if-elif case, the elif is considered if and only if all the if and elif above it were not executed. So taking a look at this part of the program, let's run it. Num is equal to 10. If num is greater than 5, it will print this out, which evaluates to true, so this will happen. If num is greater than 7, this will be printed out. And both happens because both statements started with if. On the other hand, looking at this cell, we can see nothing changed besides the fact that I changed this to elif. So if I run the cell, only the first one will be run. So num is greater than 5, print this out. And because this is run, this one won't even be evaluated by the Python interpreter. So to conclude our lesson today, we went over the syntax and structure of conditionals in Python. We also went over where and how to use if, elif, and else. And lastly, we went over the difference between an if-if situation and if-elif situation. And this will be the end of this video. As always, if you have any questions, please leave them down below in the comments. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.